teacher Lina. Today I'm going to be giving you tips on how to wash your dancewear. So yeah, well, I make dancewear and I feel as though it's important for me that dancewear lasts long. I have one of my oldest Leos and it's actually, you can even see it, look, it's a Natalie dancewear Leo. It's a really old one, really old one. I believe I bought this in... It doesn't even have a date anymore. It's so washed out. Anyway, it's a Natalie dancewear. I remember buying this somewhere maybe when I was 16 or so. So that's probably around more than maybe 14, 13 years old or something. That's my oldest piece of dancewear. I love it so much and I love the stretch. Buy quality dancewear, guys. Just a quick tip to add on the side note. And of course, you can check out our shop just in case, because I do feel like we do make good quality dancewear. The sewing is great and the fabrics too. So yeah, I don't know. Buying good dancewear really makes a difference. I know people who, you know, buy cheap dancewear and, you know, you get tears and you really do get, that's like an extra side tip before we talk about how to wash dancewear, but you really should invest in good dancewear. And I know right now dancewear is so expensive compared to how much it was before, so I hope that our shop kind of provides that whole experience for you, having good dancewear but still having it cheap. So not cheap but more affordable. So yeah, and everything we have in our shop is handmade, and you're supporting our seamstresses and the communities here in the Philippines. So I do believe that it is for good cause to support our dancewear as well. And for those who are tuned in who buy our dancewear, thank you so much. And for now, I'm going to get into this before I blab on again about talking all the things about my dancewear. So let's get into it. How to wash your dancewear. Let's start with the basics. Dancewear, actually, you're supposed to be turning it inside out. Well, mainly because you're sweating inside the dancewear. So my first tip would be turning your leotards inside out and washing it this way. I do machine wash my dancewear right now, but in delicate mode or in sportswear mode, for sure there are different types of modes now. Before, we would only hand wash them. So lukewarm water, I'd always just like down and then put like a softener and like that's it. It's not good to wash the dancewear in heat. So the heat ruins the elasticity of your dancewear, and frankly my dancewear lasts long. This has been with me for almost 14 years, so I would like to say my method of washing is quite effective. So it's really important to turn it inside out, especially now that you have printed leotards. I really would suggest turning things inside out. Even your t-shirts, especially like for example this shirt, you should be turning them inside out so that you don't damage the actual printing that's done. And lukewarm water always helps. Machine wash is okay, especially now that they're delicate settings and that. I would suggest though for dancewear, even your tights, if you were to wash them in the washing machine, just make sure that you put them in a bag, like a mesh bag, so that you can just throw them all in there and it wouldn't get so entangled with all the other clothes and overstretch them. So yes, tights and leotards, definitely you can wash them in the machine. There's no problem for that. So for dancewear though, I would suggest if your fabric is mesh, and you know those mesh leotards that you have, they would really get ruined in the washer. They're fine at first, you know, I have a lot of mesh fabrics, and I remember I used to love buying mesh leotards so much when they first came out when we were dancing, but then later on, like, they started to just have holes in them, like mini sewing problems. It's really hard, I think, because mesh fabric is so delicate. I mean, even my skirt for the dancewear, it's quite delicate, so I really have to be very careful when washing the skirt. It definitely is just hand wash only. Like, the most you can do is just soak it into the water and leave it there, and then just air dry it. Like, just hang it up and dry, but nothing else. Dancewear is also sun sensitive. I wouldn't say keep it in the sun for too long, but you know, out in the sun, but not like directly. Okay, so let's go to ballet shoes. Ballet shoes, let's start with that because I have a really bad pair of ballet shoes right now. For leather shoes, for example, like these shoes, these are my teaching shoes. For leather shoes, I would say you really should have 2 pairs of leather shoes. But let's say, for example, you don't have 2 pairs. The best you can do always, aftercare for leather shoes, absorb the moisture. Put something inside to absorb it. Silica gel packets from like your food, you know, you can use that, or you can have newspaper, stuff them in just to dry. I just use them, so I'll be putting some newspaper in just to kind of absorb the moisture. And for the wiping, I think I just wipe it with a damp cloth. Not too much water. Honestly, with leather, it's kind of like leather shoes. Also, don't wash them. Make sure you can maybe just wipe it with like a leather cleaner or something. That's fine. Anyway, leather shoes hardly get dirty. I haven't had any encounters with my leather shoes to get so dirty unless I use them on dirty floor. For canvas shoes, however, such as this one where there is already like a mini hole building up in the bottom, and I have my other shoes. This is even dirtier. It's so embarrassing, but like so dirty, and it already has a mini hole here. For canvas shoes, you can wash them. So washing canvas shoes is fine. You can actually put them in the dryer and in the washing machine. I've actually tried this. Anyway, it's canvas fabric, but again, I would take some precaution and put it also in a mesh bag and make sure that the setting is in a sports delicate setting. If the shoe is this dirty though, I really would just hand wash it instead. Soap and water would do, nothing too extreme, no bleach, of course, and nothing else. Just like soap and water and lots of scrubbing. So not to ruin the shoes, but I would say I have thrown them into the machine plenty of times. They do shrink though. I would like to inform those who would want to try that. They do shrink in the washing machine. So just be careful. Delicate setting all the time, and not the hot setting either, so that, you know, it's just to be extra safe, which I should be doing soon. But 4 of my pairs are all getting holes in them, so I feel like maybe I do need to by now buy shoes, because I use up my shoes quite a lot. And Shakot shoes are pretty sturdy, so I'm pretty sad that, you know, they're going to go away. But such as everything in life, it eventually has a lifespan. So let me get into your tights. Such as this tights, you can already see it's kind of turned gray. Honestly, this is because I accidentally mixed in the color blue, and I did not know that one of my leotards ran a certain color. This is why you should also be buying good dancewear, is because good dancewear doesn't run color, like the color doesn't run off. So I would really say invest in good dancewear, because I've had a few mishaps with really cheap dancewear in the past, and then regretting it later for my tights turning blue or pink. And I'm sure every dancer can relate to this, when your tights turn pink and blue and you're just so, oh, I can't believe I did not know. But for tights, I would say still hand wash and delicate. You can put it in a mesh bag also. For the bottom part where it gets dark, I would say just scrub it in with, I don't know, Dove soap. That's what I read before long ago, and you know what, it works just with any kind of soap. It's fine, like if you're really frustrated and you want like cleaner tights. So yeah, make sure, again, still for being safe, I would really recommend that hand wash. Like hand wash is really the safest. Like especially for delicate stuff like mesh, hand wash is still really the safest. The best tip I can give you is really just soak it in water, like lukewarm water, and then like your just basic kind of soap, like detergent, and that's it. Like that's it. And you can just have a little of it, you know. Don't wait for the bubbles. I know people who think that bubbles mean clean. No, it's not. You know, it's just for the smell. Of course, it makes it clean, but it doesn't mean that more bubbles means better. So just put enough to dry, and we don't want to ruin our dancewear. It's a delicate thing. And again, we sweat in it and we use it often. So there's no need really to like scrub it. It's not like we're running around in the mud or being outside. We're in the studio. It's really important to maintain your dancewear. And of course, we want your dancewear and our clothes to last us long, because, well, it's very important. We don't want to create more waste in the world either. And if you do have old dancewear, I would really recommend everyone just to pass it on to your younger generation dancers. You know, as a teacher, I do that to my students too. I love passing on dancewear, and let's keep the art of ballet alive. And I hope that you learned something new from this vlog and some do's and don'ts that maybe you've been doing. So again, this has been Teacher Lina of Dance by Lina, Dancewear and Studio Dance by Lina. In case you'd like to check out more videos, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks everyone!